this world which is leaving, and the hereafter which is approaching has been forgotten about. So a person is really changed his attitude and focusing on that which is leaving, where in reality on that which is approaching he has left it. Some scholars, they said, there's a saying of some of the scholars, he said, this world is like the alcohol of shaitan, that the more a person consumes, the more intoxicated he becomes. And the more a person he focuses on this world in the true sense of the focus, from the essence of following his shahwa or the dunya, becoming a slave to it, he begins to focus upon the most pathetic things, upon the most, the most, things which are least important. For example, there was once a group of people in the mosque. They made their jama'ah, they made their group prayer in the mosque. In the first line of that group prayer, there was a person's phone who rang. His mobile phone rang up, and it had a ringtone to it. So then after the prayer, what happens was, this big guy comes from behind, he's praying in the last line. He was about 6'2". He comes walking down the front after the prayer. So some of the brothers in the salat, they got a bit afraid. They said, if this guy, he starts punching on with this guy whose phone has been ringing in the prayer, how are we going to stop him? This guy's a big bloke. So what happens is he comes to the person whose phone was ringing, and he says to him, he goes, man, where did you get that ringtone from? I've been looking everywhere for it. Where did you get that ringtone? I've searched everywhere and I haven't found it. Where did you get it from? This became his focus. But this is not only a problem in that regard. This has become a problem in every facet of life. That when the focus changes from the akhirah to this life, you'll find the most pathetic things become your priority. You'll find the most insignificant things becoming your greatest worry and your greatest concern. This will always happen when that becomes your focus. The focus must be the hereafter. If the focus is not the hereafter, you will be amongst the losers. And this was the number one thing that the Prophet ﷺ was trying to instill in all of the companions. Be in this dunya like what? Like you're a traveler. Be in this dunya like you're passing from one door to the other. Through one door and out the other. So be in this world like you're a traveler. You know, when you go overseas and you reside in that country temporarily, you get what you need from that country. Because knowing that you're going to be there temporarily, what are you doing? You're preparing for your return back into your native land when you come back. So in a like fashion, we're in this temporary world now, and that should be our focus, our preparation for the hereafter. Not to lay the foundations here in this life as though we would never leave. And wallahi, through that example you can see, and that's not only about that, but it becomes about everything. The whole dunya becomes your focus, and everything in it, even those which are least important, becomes your priority, and you start focusing on all these things. And slowly, the hereafter becomes less important, and less important, and less important, until what? Until in the end, you don't really feel that thing that a person should feel. And that was why the Prophet advised that a person, he should only be in the world as though he were a traveller. This world is nothing really but materialistic things, and those who get caught up in those materialistic things, wallahi, we really have to take a reflection upon ourselves and judge ourselves in every facet, in every way of life, as to the things we are regarding as important. We have but this one life. We have but this one temporary life. And what more do we need? Look how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Nearly 124,000 prophets. 330 messengers. The Quran. We have the Prophet ﷺ Sunnah. We have the stories of the previous prophets. We know what happened in history to those who neglected and those who disregarded. Everything is before us. We know exactly what happened in the previous times. Even to the extent where the Ummah of Muhammad will be made a witness over the previous nations. So everything is before us. So what excuse is there left for a person not to come forth to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What excuse is left for a person to abstain and not come forth? There is no excuse left. Now it is upon every single and each and every one of you. Every single person, he must make that step, and he must make that sacrifice to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must make the first step voluntarily from your heart. Nothing is left. Everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, He has given. And it's right there before you. Now the responsibility is upon you. Inshallah, we will have a 10-minute talk after the remaining salat, after the Taraweeh. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.